Hey, what's the one single greatest advantage we can give our business, especially if it's an online business? Leveraging this one timeless principle gives you what we call the edge, and it took our business from $0 all the way to $100,000 per month. Then that same principle helped dozens of clients build their dream business completely 100% online. And the crazy part is this works without being salesy, without using overly complex tech, or without taking forever in the day, right? Sometimes it just takes too long. First, I want you to know that there's nothing for sale on this page, so I'm not trying to sell you anything. I'm not trying to get you to give me money or anything like that. But if you want, you can comment below. Let me know what you're thinking. Let me know where you need help. Let me know, the questions that you have about what we're going to go over. And also, if you find this valuable, I ask that you please share this with a friend. I'm looking to get this out to as many people as possible so that really I can give value and help the most amount of people for free. So click the share button if you find this valuable and comment below your biggest questions. Hey, I don't know about you, but for me, results should always come first. In fact, I shouldn't even be able to talk about marketing or business or anything unless I can show results. There's a bunch of gurus online trying to sell courses about courses without having any prior results at all. And it's basically, to me, it's disgusting. Now, since you're smart and you don't want to follow some random 15-year-old pretender on the internet, I'm going to show you everything. Before I do, just know that these results are not typical. And actually, they're not even that good, if I'm telling the truth. I mean, I try my best and I can provide for my family and we have a good life and everything. But, I know that I could actually do a lot better if I put more time, energy, and effort into it. But I like to have fun. I like to spend a lot of time with my family, and I like to do things that I love to do. I'm not really the rah-rah, hustle, work your face off like Gary Vee type of personality. I'm just a regular person that works smarter, not harder. Now, I know that you can do it too, but I have to say, results are not typical. Most people quit, most people complain. As soon as they find out they have to put in any type of work, they think it's too hard and they quit, they give up. They go, they're gone, never to be seen again, bye-bye. Little do they know that it's probably just their frame of mind and that with some small tweaks we can fix it, but more on that later. Anyway, here's the 100% authentic, halfway decent results that I promised I would show you. Let's go. All right, so as you can see, this is 2017. So we started out really not doing so well, a little hiccup there, and then eventually we started to build. We got above $30,000 per month, then above $40,000, and look here, if we keep going, boom, we're all the way up here around $90,000 per month back in 2017. Then this is actually 2018, so as you can see, we started still on an upslope going up, and then it slowly started to go down, and we leveled out right around like the $70,000 to $80,000 per month mark, and then we actually let it collapse because we were building a brand new site, so we had to tell everybody to cancel to move over to this brand new site. So really crazy time, really interesting insights came out of that, and I can tell you all about that at a later date. But if you put these two back to back, it looks pretty crazy. Look, you can see we're going up past the $90,000 mark here, and then over here we're passing $100,000. But then we just gave up. Basically, we just said, you know what, we really need to create this new project and launch that, and that was like the most important thing at the time. So we did just let it fall on down, and we didn't really do any marketing in 2018 because all of our money was going into product development during that time. So really interesting time. A lot of insights came out of that. Then this is 2019. So we started off strong. This is the launch of our brand new product now. So this is a new thing. We launched it up at $50K per month, and then we were able to get over $70K per month on the launch, but then it kind of just mellowed out around $50K for a while. And that's okay. We just wrote it out for a while, and then now we're lifting it back up. In 2020, we're lifting it back up towards that, trying to get back towards that $100,000 per month. In 2020, we did get a nice upslope in this, month, and then the March and April numbers are not in yet, but they will be up here in the $90,000 per month range. So that's really, really cool, really, really great stuff. But during 2019, in the month of March, we actually launched a brand new side little course that could bring in some revenue, and it brought in $41,000 in one single month. And I was just like, oh my gosh, it was like the coolest, craziest thing ever. It was pretty awesome. And actually, it went on to today, it made over 90K altogether. And this is just a one-off course that we use to then we sell to people up front, and then we get them into our membership on the back, the membership I already showed you. So it's pretty crazy. But during this time, look, you could see April 9th, 2020, our business has just been blowing up. This is what our email looks like on a daily basis. Just new automatic payment, new automatic payment, these are people signing up as a subscription to our business. And as you can see, it keeps going beyond that. So pretty crazy time, and that's what's happening in our business. And also, and we figured out how to systematize and automate a lot of things. So this is what my bank account, these are just deposits into my bank account from sales. So this is just the end of March into April, just regular payments just landing in my inbox. It's so crazy. And it's so cool. Most people just don't know how that feels, but it's insane, guys. I'm telling you, it's really, 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 really awesome. Something amazing to shoot for. It's important to realize it wasn't always like this. Daddy, I'm hungry. That's what my manager used to yell at me. We were in a huge warehouse. The warehouse had like glossy floors and a huge tall ceiling. It was an enormous grocery warehouse. And my manager at the time used to yell, "Daddy, I'm hungry," down the aisle to get me to move faster. Now, obviously, this was a garbage job, like the worst job ever, right? It was night shift, 9 p.m. to 9 a.m. I worked. So just straight through the night. Then I would stumble in the door. There was dirt all over my arms. I was tired. I was cranky. I would fall asleep, sleep all day, wake up, and then go back to work again at night. So I barely knew my own daughter. I didn't really get to spend time with my wife. I didn't have quality of life. I was working way harder than I wanted to in order to get way less money than I wanted. Maybe you know how that feels. Maybe you're in a similar position now. I totally resonate with that. I totally understand where you're coming from, and I know that it's tough. But for me, something had to change. So, literally overnight, I kind of changed my whole plan, and I started working with small businesses instead of a huge giant warehouse. I decided I want to get a job with a small business so I can help them the most, so I can have the most impact, so I can put the most in and get the most out of it. Because helping this giant business with all this huge corporate ladder and this huge amount of people that I have to please in order to move up throughout the ranks, it just wasn't for me. So I started taking some chances and working with some small businesses. That was a great thing for me because I got to give the most amount of value, and I got to start to see what small business owners needed in order to grow their business and what skills were needed in order to grow. And that allowed me to invest in getting those skills that allow other businesses to grow. And it changed my entire life, just making that one small tweak. But anyway, I worked several different jobs, and then one day we lost it all. My wife and I had this job that we loved. Long story short, there was some drama in the business and people started fighting, and long story short, my wife quit and I got fired. So now we had no income at all. We had a mortgage, we had a baby, we had a dog, and we had no income. So with no income coming in for 1 month, then 2 months, then 3 months, we ended up losing our house. I'm still kind of ashamed to say, me, my pregnant wife, my daughter, and my dog ended up moving back in with my parents. And we had to start over from scratch, and that's how I know what my rock bottom feels like. Well, after being stuck at home for a little bit, I ended up stumbling across the idea of membership sites. Tried creating a few membership sites myself, but they completely failed. They tanked. And I've done a lot of reflecting since then, and I know all of the different mistakes that I made and all the different pitfalls and how I used to mess up when I was first trying to launch membership sites, then one day my phone rang, right? It was a childhood friend, one that I've known for 18 years. He was like, hey, I saw what you were doing online. That's really cool. I have a really good membership idea. So I continued to drink lattes and watch Shark Tank. Just kidding. Could you imagine? No, I was dead broke. I jumped in the car and drove to his house that instant. We ended up experimenting with a bunch of different customer journeys and offers that we could create. And I'm not gonna lie, a lot of them failed, but some of them succeeded. And that membership site went on to become the one that I just showed you all the results for, that we grew to over 100K per month. I was hooked. So I started helping business owners again. I started doing some side projects, and I eventually started to get other clients that wanted me to help them with their marketing. And I even got a few partnership deals along the way. Now I'm a 50% owner in 2 businesses, and I have my own business that I'm 100% owner of. And we're on our way to 7 figures this year. I never took on debt. I never took on investors. I never took on silent partners. So I needed to be profitable in order to feed my family. And as far as my personal life, my family and I have our own place again. Our student debt is almost gone. And we have enough money to eat all of the vegan and organic food that we like to eat. And we travel quite a bit, like to places like Colorado, Peru, North Carolina. That's just in the past year alone. We live a comfortable, happy, fulfilled life. And again, we're on our way to 7 figures this year. So we couldn't be happier with where we are right now. So why am I sharing all my secrets with you? I mean, I don't need to. I can certainly just go about working on the businesses that I already have and continue being happy and making more than enough money. That might actually be easier. But if I can help just one single person achieve what I've achieved, I believe the world will be a better place. Their family will be safe, secure, and get to eat healthy food. They'll be able to spend the time doing the things that matter with the people that they love in their life. They'll get to share their passions with the world and spread their message, which in most cases will have a positive impact. They'll stop losing time and money and finally be able to quit their horrendous job that they hate. They'll have a community of like-minded friends and fans that want the skills that they have. And they'll have the freedom to live their best life. And so much more. So instead of helping just one person, I've set out to help 1 million entrepreneurs unlock online income streams. Now, of course, it's going to help me get paid and continue sharing my best work with the world, but that's not the main reason I do it. And I truly, truly mean that. I've got enough projects to keep us satisfied as far as money goes. 6FM is a fire within to help and share with the most important people in the world, the ones that are actually creating it, like you. And you deserve to get paid. Wealthy even, for your best work, and we want to help you do that. That's why we're here. So let's roll. Okay, I'm gonna reveal some of my best stuff to you right now. Here's a warning. With power comes responsibility. You have to use these things for good, never for evil. Don't go starting scammy businesses and flooding the internet with BS. We don't need any more of that, trust me. This is for people that actually care about getting their clients quality results. If you don't care about quality results and you just want to make a quick buck, just leave now. Bye. God, that guy was annoying. All right, since you're still here, I know you're smart. So here we go. You've likely heard of sales funnels, yes? Well, quick recap. A funnel is a series of steps that sells people your stuff. Funnels are great, but they only really focus on one thing, the sale. Now, sales are essential, but they don't come out of thin air, right? To get a sale, we typically need to earn trust, build a relationship, warm them up, give them a blanket, make them a cup of tea. No, I'm just kidding, I took it too far, but you get the point. We have to create an actual relationship with people and build a bond with them in order to make a sale. So the funnel does the selling, but the relationship starts way before the sale. I mean, you don't get married on the first date, right? So let's reframe the funnel. It is no longer a funnel anymore. Instead, it's a customer journey. The customer journey is what someone sees first, and then second, and then third, etc. when they come into contact with you or your brand on the internet, and it leads them eventually to your big sale. The goal is not to sell them something and then run off into the sunset with their money. No, definitely not. If we do everything right, the journey will actually go on forever. The ideal client will remain a happy and satisfied customer forever, exchanging their money for goods with the business regularly. Hear me out when I say this. That's the real goal of any savvy business. It's to create the forever journey. So the real question is, what customer journey will work for my ideal customer and my product? Now, write that down and obsess over it for a while. I'm dead serious. Isn't this awesome? Pay attention. I'm giving you the best tips that I have. Let's go. Here's the thing. Maybe you want the easy button. You know, you want us to tell you exactly what customer journey works the best. Nope. Sorry, it ain't gonna happen. There's no such thing as a one-size-fits-all approach. It is complete nonsense. If somebody tells you they have the only way to get customers and clients online, the only way to do this, the only way to do that, if they tell you that there's only one single way that works, they are wrong. You should run in the opposite direction and never look back to that person. Okay? Truth is, there's 3 simple steps to crafting a customer journey. They're simple, but not easy. Step 1, know your ideal client. Step 2, create the customer journey. Step 3, test. Now, obviously, there's a lot of nuance in all of this, and there's a ton of steps for each one of those. So we're gonna go over all of it. Let's do it. All right, so step 1 is to know your ideal, your perfect client. Okay, step 2 is to create the journey, all right? And then step 3 is to become Einstein, stick your tongue out, and invent E equals MC squared. No, I'm just kidding. It's to test, right? It's to test and experiment with the different journeys that you can create for your customers. All right, so step 1 is to know your ideal client. All right, and I'm spilling the beans. I'm gonna give you all of the exact questions that you wanna ask your ideal client so that you can know how they think, what they're worried about, what they like, what their desire is, what their fear is, what their roadblocks are, right? Those are the types of things that we need to know. And those things are called psychographics, okay? Maybe you've heard of demographics. That's like where people live, what their race and ethnicity is, their age, their median income. Those types of things are demographics. We like to focus on psychographics. That's how people think, how people process information, how people become a buyer, like what makes them a buy, right? These psychographics, they are intensely valuable. It is the new marketing. It is the way to understand your target market so that you can serve them exactly what they want. Now listen, when people used to tell me, know your ideal client and you have to know who your perfect customer is, I always used to flip past that part of the book. I always used to skip that part in the course, right? And the truth is, you're never going to be able to build a business, any kind of business, any online business, anything, and do any type of effective marketing or reach the type of people that you want if you don't know who they are and if you don't understand how they think and the psychographics behind the decisions that they make. So we have to do that, okay? Skipping this step is just like shooting yourself in the foot. It's not gonna help you. It's only gonna hurt you. You must start with this step. If you skip this step, I understand why. It's because you want to get ahead. It's because you want to learn the exact steps to build the business. And maybe you think you don't know who your ideal client is right now. Well, my suggestion to you would be try your best to guess and come up with an ideal client. Now, this here is Randy, and this is one of the people that I use, right? This is an avatar that I use, my ideal client, in a business that I'm in. So what I do is I keep this near my desk, It's a very bad drawing, but the drawing isn't the important part. The important part is all the psychographics that I have here down below it. Randy desires to provide, get noticed, and to help people. He has a gift and he thinks he might even be great, right? These different things really, they go into the way that Randy views the world and how he thinks and what he thinks about and what his desires are, what his fears are, and what his roadblocks are, so that I can then speak to Randy directly in all of my marketing, and I can really stand out and really just be speaking directly to one person. And that's so powerful, because then when you talk to that one person, they are going to be enamored, they're going to be completely focused on you, and they're going to want to buy and be a long-term forever customer. And that's really the whole goal of everything, as we already went over. All right, so huge, you must know your ideal client. You must know your ideal client. There's no skipping this. So here's a little bit about the nuts and bolts of how to make this actually work. So the first thing you want to do is you want to get the questions. They're on this page written down below. I can send it to your email if you'd like. Just put your email in somewhere on this page so that we can continue to send you these posts, and we'll send you all the questions that you need to ask in order to understand your ideal client. So that's really important. So what you can do is send them a survey. You can set up a simple survey inside of Google, and you can send that survey out to your list. Now, when you send that survey out to your list, and if you don't have a list, just stick with me. When you send that survey out to people, you're going to start getting answers, and you're going to start to see the patterns. You're going to start to understand the psychographics. You're going to see which ones stand out and which ones have the most amount of answers that kind of go into the same bucket versus the ones that are kind of separate and different, right? So we want to be able to narrow it down into the ones that have the most amount of mentions or the most amount of answers inside the survey, because then we're really focusing on the largest group of people with the same psychographics. So if you're thinking about what questions do I ask them, or what do I have to ask them, and why do I have to ask them that, just scroll down. I have all the information laid out on this page. And again, you can put your email in if you want us to send it to your email, so that you can really read through it and understand it, and basically just copy and paste the questions that we give you so that you can start to understand your ideal client. Now, here's a small little hack that you can use if you don't have a list, if you don't have an audience, and if you're just starting out, and if you personally went through the same thing that you're kind of selling to other people. If you personally solved that problem for yourself, all you have to do is think back to how you thought before you solved the problem, okay? So for a big example, let's say I'm selling stock market stuff, where we teach people how to trade stocks, right? So let's say I'm first starting out, and before I knew how to trade stocks, I didn't know anything at all, and I want to sell something about trading stocks. All I have to do is think back to how I thought, the answers to the questions that I gave you about stock trading before I understood it, before I had the solution, before I had the problem solved. How did I think about it? And answer those questions, and then boom, you have a sheet like this, an ideal client sheet that you can look at, leverage, and use in order to create your very first customer journey. So that's a little hack if you've never had a business before, or you don't have a list, or you don't have an audience, or you don't have anybody to talk to or to get survey answers from. Survey yourself and use yourself as the person that is your ideal client, because we do tend to like people that are like us. So if you have a bunch of ideal clients, a bunch of people coming toward you that are just like you, I'm sure you'll be happy about that. So just a little tip, just a little hack that you can use in order to get ahead if you don't have a list. And you can still launch a customer journey without having all that info. But you are going to want to start surveying the new people that you're talking to and getting on board. You're going to want to start surveying them right away so you can understand them, just in case you were a little bit different or you missed something. Sometimes our memory doesn't serve us best. All right, so just a really cool thing to notice, and something that can help you out. So again, just to reiterate, if you are not that person that went through the same journey that your customer is going through now, you're gonna wanna rely solely on survey data and talking to the customer and talking to the ideal clients, talking to people that may or may not choose to do business with you, the people on your list, the people in your audience. So you're gonna wanna grow your audience first and then ask them if you never went through the journey yourself. Okay, but if you have been through the journey, you can try creating a customer journey and test it out to see if maybe you already have in mind the exact way that you used to think, and that matches the way that people are still thinking today. So that is extremely valuable. I hope you're sticking with me here. This is friggin' awesome. Let's move forward. All right, so once we understand our ideal client, we're gonna move on to creating our very first customer journey. Now, there's something really important you need to understand. This is not a one-time job, okay? Creating a customer journey is really something that we want to just continuously be working on, improving, getting better, testing, changing, and growing over time. I mean, this is a never-ending process, so what I want you to do is really just commit in your mind right now to saying, I'm going to create an amazing customer journey, and I'm going to make it better and better and better over time. Entrepreneurs need to commit to that so that they don't get stuck and so that they keep getting better over time and so that they continue to have customer journeys that will work forever. Especially just continually changing and making it better and better and better and bigger and cooler and more expansive and allowing to increase more people and make it evergreen and make it last forever. Those types of things are really, really valuable and important, and you can do that. But you have to stay committed to creating customer journeys, okay? So before we get into this, real quick, if you do not want to commit to creating customer journeys all the time, or you think it's too much, all you have to do really is hire someone who knows how to do it, or hire a team that knows how to do it, like me and my team, and we can just take that off your plate. You don't have to worry about it, and you don't have to sit around trying to create customer journeys all the time. You can just worry about serving your clients the best way that you know how. So that's something really powerful to consider. If you're a business owner, then you know you can outsource things. You can hire people to get things done that need to get done. But going after customer journeys can be life-changing. It can grow your business to ridiculous levels that you didn't think you could hit, and it can really position you to continue getting better and growing with your customers instead of just hoping that they stay with you for the long term, right? So it really takes away hope marketing and puts in place like this is the steps that are going to continually improve our marketing over time. And that's the difference. So with customer journeys, you have to begin with the end in mind. So you want to know where you're taking them. Ideally, where do they end up, right? So in some businesses, it's going to be where they end up is the high ticket sale, the done for you sale, where they pay $20,000, $40,000 in order to work with you and your team, and you and your team create the thing that they need. Right? That for some businesses, that is where they want their customers to eventually lead to. For other businesses, it's going to be like the high ticket sale that's, we go to a resort once a year, or we do this big event once a year that we have people come to, and we want everybody to come to that event, and that is what we want to lead to, right? So you want to begin with the end in mind. What is the very best thing that you want your customers to come do with you so that you can serve them the best, right? Think about your ability to serve, right? Your ability to give everything you can possibly give to these people. What is the highest value things that you can give to people that will improve the quality of their life, improve whatever it is that, it's going to help them do whatever it is that you help people do. What is the most value you can give them? And a lot of times that is in the form of done for you services or retreats or big events that really, really help people, right? So that's where you want to start. You want to start with that ending in mind and then reverse engineer that, right? So in a lot of ways, you can reverse engineer that to have other smaller products in the front that people pay for, or you can have a bunch of free stuff in the front so people can get warmed up to you and meet you and know who you are, and et cetera, right? Or you can have a continuity program where they pay you every single month, and your business grows and you get more and more monthly recurring revenue, so you can pay your employees, keep the lights on, pay yourself, and really grow your business without any worries, right? So there's a lot of different options when it comes to customer journeys, but you have to start with the end in mind. The most valuable thing that you can possibly offer to somebody, you want to start there and then reverse engineer what would they need to know in order to want to go there. How would you have to give them results in order to get them to know that you can handle this at that upper level, right? How would you have to show up in order for them to realize that you have the most value and you can provide the best possible service at that higher level, right? Those those types of questions are what's going to set you up to build a customer journey that brings people through the entire process of getting them to that higher ticket sale or to that, end goal, whatever that is. And maybe you don't have a higher ticket sale, by the way. I keep saying that over and over, but you don't have to by any means at all. Perhaps you only have a front end product and it's lower priced and you just want to grow that as much as possible. That's completely fine as well. Or maybe you're just focusing only on your continuity program and getting that recurring monthly revenue. That's completely 100% fine. That's usually where we start when we're starting a brand new business. And another thing, you don't have to have that end in mind in order to move forward. If you don't have the end in mind, don't worry, because the next training I'm coming out with is going to be about the offers that you create, the end in mind, right? It's going to help you build that end in mind. And it's also going to help you build a business without being an expert or a coach or an author or a speaker, right? Those are like the main ones that this works for. But even if you're not one of those, I'm going to give you a way to grow an enormous business, a really cool business, without having to be the expert, without having to be that talking head, without having to be the main guy in the front, which is really cool. So I hope you're going to show up to that training. If you want to, put your email below and we'll make sure that you receive that training. But we can figure out the end that you have in mind at a later date. That's my point. Don't get too hung up on it. Don't get worried about it. Just realize you need to know that, and we're going to go after that together. I'm going to help you figure out what your end in mind is for your business. So don't worry about it too much. But once you know that, you can work backwards, right? You can use the magic question. The magic question is, what would my ideal client need to know, need to believe is true, or know is true, in order to want blank product and service that you're selling, right? What would they need to believe is true in order to buy product or service? And then you fill the holes. You fill the holes of what they need to believe is true, because marketing is changing beliefs. Marketing is getting someone to believe in something, because a believer is a buyer. Okay? Marketing is changing beliefs. So once you have the end in mind and you know what they need to believe, you can work on bridging the belief gap. This is where people go, well, how do I do it? What's the exact thing that works, right? Is it a webinar or an ebook or a video series or a mini course or a whatever, right? It goes on and on and on. And the answer is, there is no one size fits all. There is no right answer. You get to test and try with those different things. That's the really cool part about being in business, is trying to figure out what works the best, not only for your customers, but for you, right? Which one do you like to do? Do you can do it with just writing, or with just podcasting, or with just video, or with all of those things combined, or with just live videos, just webinars, and the list goes on and on. So you can really try things, test things, get to know who you are, and also get to know your clients and what they like. So that part is just the delivery method, but what really matters is not that, okay? The delivery method doesn't matter. What matters the most, that we want to focus on first, is the messaging, right? That's why it's so important to understand your ideal client, so you can have messaging that fits what they want to hear in order to believe what they need to believe in order to buy the products that you want them to buy. I hope this is all making sense. This is friggin' awesome. I'm giving you the golden tickets right now. You must be, taking notes, and I hope you're liking this. But the truth is, if you don't have the messaging right, then the delivery method doesn't matter at all. Okay, so you could do a webinar all day, every day, but if the messaging is off, it's not going to work. All right, so that's why we focus on messaging first. Delivery method, we just test different ones until we find what we like and what our clients like, and then boom, once all that stuff matches up, it's off to the races. Yep, we get to be lazy. We get to work smarter instead of harder and do less work in order to get more results, which is, what more could you ask for? All right, so again, begin with the end in mind. And then first is the beliefs, next is messaging, third, delivery methods, and then finally, you're gonna wanna test that customer journey that you've created, which is why we've got right here Mr. Einstein with his tongue out, E equals MC squared, right? We wanna test. We wanna become this guy in a lab coat right here. But before we get into testing, I want to talk about journeys and how to really implement this, even if you're not a marketer, you're not a copywriter, you're not somebody that has done this before, right? So the answers that you get are directly proportionate to the questions that you ask, my friend, okay? So at this point, we already asked our audience, what they want and the important questions that are involved with that. But now we have to answer questions about who we are, what we stand for, what our brand really means and what it's there for, why it exists, okay? Attention, listen to this, okay? Listen to this. It's important to know what we are, but perhaps even more importantly than that is to know what we are not, okay? The truth is, we can't be all things to all people, and spelling out what you do not do and who you are not actually builds trust with the audience. The audience starts to think, wow, this guy's actually genuine, he's real, he understands, he's not this other thing that I thought he might have been. It's really, really powerful to do this. For example, when you came to this page, you probably had your guard up. Rightly so. I mean, it's only smart to be like, all right, is this another scammer? But as soon as I say, hey, there's nothing for sale on this page, and then I follow it with, hey, this isn't a course about courses type of thing where I'm just some guy selling more marketing stuff about marketing, right? That's when you say, oh, wow, okay, well then I'm gonna listen. You say, wow, he's not what I thought. He's not what everybody else is in this space, right? So then you start to listen up. This is the power behind knowing what we are not. So here's really what that looks like for 6FM. All right, first, we help people get results, but we do not promise that they automatically get those results with no work. We do not do that. That is ridiculous. You're gonna need to put work in, okay? We know how to create profitable membership sites, but we do not make membership sites for people that just wanna make a quick buck without providing quality results, okay? We love internet marketing, but we do not spam the internet with garbage content and links to our paid materials, okay? And all those things are true, but you see how that works, right? You've got to know who you are not, who you do not serve, what you are not, right? You have to know those things because when you communicate them, it really helps to break through to the people that you actually care about. After that, you're gonna wanna have absolute clarity on specific branding questions, okay? I put those specific branding questions down below in the written form of this post, and if you want, we can send that directly to your email. Just put your email in on one of the places in this page and we'll send it over to you as well. I'm not gonna read the questions to you. You can go read them yourself. You're a big boy or girl, and I know you can do it. So just go down below and check out the questions, answer the questions, have them answered, and have complete clarity on them. And of course, like, clarity is something you go after and it'll change over time, but do your best to get clear on those things now so that you have that as part of your toolbox when you're creating your next membership site. So I'll say one more thing about customer journeys. After doing this for years, I've noticed that the customer journeys that are the most clear on who they are not, who they do not serve, and who they do not help, and what they are not, those ones actually go the furthest because they're cutting through to the people that they actually want to be speaking to. And the ones that are the most clear on who they're speaking to and get their messaging the most clear and able to be quickly understood by their target market, those are the customer journeys that go the longest. That's why the first step is know your audience. The second step is build that customer journey that you're gonna then, third step, test it out. So this is the part where you want to put on your lab coat and get ready for the job that you actually signed up for, which is being an experimenter, being a tester, being someone that looks through the data and understands what they're looking at and then tests everything, right? The best marketers are not just creative people that know how to create a customer journey that is profitable from the very beginning, but instead they do their best to create it and then they test everything. They test things to see which works better based on data, based on the actions that the market is taking. So we do our best to get the site positioned correctly with the perfect customer journey, but deep down, we know that it's not up to us, all right? The market decides for us. It's way too risky and dangerous to think that we are the reason, we are the people that cause success inside of marketing. We are not, okay? It is the market that decides what marketing they like, okay? So that's something that took me forever to figure out, but once you figure out the mindset behind it, we are not the reason why it works. The market gets to decide what works. We're just the ones putting different things out and testing different things to see what they like, to see what they're responding to see what causes them to take action, right? And we do our best. We give the surveys, we ask them the questions, we do the work, but then at the end of it all, we really just have to put something out and see what happens. And then put more things out and see what happens some more, and put other stuff out and see how it works, and fix it and see how it works, and fix it again and see how it works, right? And it's actually a never-ending process to test. I mean, sure, we can create intentionally, and we can do a really, 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 really good job at finding our target market and at building a customer journey that we think is going to work perfectly for them, and then it can just completely flop. Right? And why? Why would that happen? Well, who knows, right? Maybe the timing of the market was off. Maybe your targeting was wrong. Maybe you missed a part of your messaging. Maybe your headline sucks. Maybe your offer is not what people want, right? Maybe, but we actually don't know until we test. Again, there is no one-size-fits-all approach. Okay, it would be absolutely ridiculous to think that there is one and only one way that works to make a profitable customer journey, yet there's gurus out there every single day saying this is the one webinar that works, this is the one sales funnel thing that works. Surprise, there is one way that works, and that one single way is called testing. So here's how to implement this, even if the word test makes you want to hurl, okay? So the very first test is validating your idea. You need to make sure that your idea is actually going to work. It actually has legs in the marketplace, okay? And when we do this, we do it very intentionally, very low budget, and we try to figure out, do people actually want this? So the best way to validate an idea is to gather a small group of people and see if you can get people into a group that want to learn from you or that want what you have, and they'll be like your beta testers. So this is called a seed launch, it's called a beta test, it can be called a whole bunch of things, but the point is you get 10 people to come work with you for free or for a low price, and you see, do they like what's going on, right? You get to validate your offer. So if you offer people to come work with you for, to teach them how to launch a new product, and you get 10 people, then you know that people want to learn how to launch a new product. It's validated, right? So that's a really simple way to do it. Back when I first started 6FM, actually, I had a coach. My coach challenged me. He said, see if you can get 10 people into a group that want to learn how to build membership sites. So I went out there and I started trying to get people. I actually didn't think I was going to be able to do it. I was really nervous about it. I was scared. I'm an introvert by nature. And so I was like, I don't know if I can actually do this. I don't know if I can get people on the phone and if I can actually talk them into doing this. And I thought it would be hard, right? And then 2 days later, I had 10 people. It was like way easier than I thought it was, meaning that the idea that I had must have been good enough, right? The idea that I had to help people with marketing, online courses, membership sites, and even physical products is now validated. And I know that people want that. Okay, so that's the very first test we want to do, is we want to validate our idea. All right. The second test is to test your very first customer journey. Once you have your idea validated, you're going to go build out a customer journey based on your ideal client, and also based on the survey questions that you asked, and based on the psychographics of your ideal client. You're going to build a really sweet customer journey that you think they're going to love, that's going to allow them to believe everything they need to believe in order to want to buy products from you, in order to become a customer. So the very first test for this is really, can you get leads, right? Can you get people to sign up? Can you get people to give you your email, or to give you their phone number, or to give you some piece of information in order to know a little bit more about what you do, right? So if people are willing to do that and willing to become leads, then your idea is validated a little bit more. And then finally, you're going to want to see if you can turn those people into customers in that same process, in that same step number 2 of the customer journey. But really, you want to wait to do that until you get to step number 3, which is where you test your offer, okay? So first you test to validate your idea, then you test to see if you can get legs, if you can get people to sign up or to start like giving you their email or trying to work with you or getting your phone number or getting on the phone with you. And then third, you want to test your offer. And that means put together your best offer, the best thing that you think people want to buy, and you put it out there. And there's a lot more to it than that, obviously. There's a way to build an offer that works almost 100% of the time. But what we want to do is really think through that offer, create what we can, and then bring it to the list, bring it to those people, and see if we can get some customers to pay us some money. If we can get people to pay us some money, then everything is completely validated. The customer journey may or may not be validated at that point, and then we can kind of mess with that a little bit more to see if we can make it better, or we can expand it, or we can change it, or we can, make it so that we can turn that on to evergreen, so that it's evergreen and it lasts forever and it gets us customers on autopilot. Okay, so there's a bunch of choices to make at that point. But the point is, you test your idea, then you test your customer journey, then finally you test your offer, and then you've done the test, and then from there, all the tests are just to make things incrementally better over time. So we're still going to be testing. The testing doesn't go away, but it starts off with those 3 important tests. From there, we test everything else in order to make it better and better and better. And we can get deeper into that in some other trainings down the road. So I don't want you to think that I'm the only person that's done this and it's worked. So here's a case study example of it working perfectly. One of my coaching clients, his name is Austin, and he's an amazing investor and a stock trader, right? So he has a YouTube channel and an Instagram, and he built up this large audience before he ever reached out to me, right? So that's one thing to realize. He already has an audience. If you don't already have an audience, that's okay. I can show you how to do that. We can get you there. But just know that in this case study, he has an audience. He comes to me and he says, Ryan, I need help. I want to build a membership site. I want to build something that can earn money, and I want to start making money online. So I said, okay, I'll help you do that. So I got on the phone with him all the time. This is me on the phone. I didn't do anything for him. He did it himself. I give him 100% credit. I didn't do anything. I just had a couple phone calls with the guy. So here's how it worked. The first thing he did was he decided to create a forever journey, okay? Which is exactly what we're talking about, right? He created his forever journey by following the 3 steps that I already outlined on this page. Step 1, know your ideal customer. Know your audience, right? So what did he do? He created a survey with all the questions that I gave him, and he sent that out to his entire customer list, got back all the survey questions, and he was able to see exactly what words they were using to describe their biggest fears, their biggest desires, their biggest roadblocks, etc. So he was able to then use those words in his messaging directed towards them, and really we were setting off on the perfect foot. So he got all that stuff together. He got the surveys answered. He got the words that he needed for his messaging. Step 2 was he created his customer journey. So for him, he really wanted to do a mini course. He wanted to create like a 4-module little course that people would go through. And on the 4th one was a sales page. So 1 piece of free content, 2 pieces of free content, 3 pieces of free content. Boom, here's a sales page. If you pay us, you get to move along in this journey, right? So he did that. He created the whole thing. He created 3 now here's the thing, there's a lot of nuance in how you do that. One really important part to know is that transitioning from the 3rd video into the sales video is a difficult thing. It's very nuanced. It's very important how you go about that, because you can't just go free, all right, now pay me. Hey man, I just want to say thank you. Everything you provided really helped me launch my membership. My goal in the first 3 months was to get to 1K a month, but currently I'm on the last open day for this launch, and I have made 3.2K in sales with 1.4K in recurring monthly revenue. Boom! What is up, Austin? Good work, my friend. Good work. Austin made those results happen, not me. All I did was talk to him on the phone. Okay, so guys, how huge is that? All right? I mean, okay, having a goal and then tripling that goal, right? He wanted to make $1,000. He made $3,200. He wanted to make he wanted to make some recurring revenue. He got 1.4K in recurring revenue, and that was just on launch alone. Okay, so that was what happened when he launched his first customer journey. Now results are not typical. Okay, those results are not what you should expect by any means. I mean, a lot of failure usually goes into this, but he did the right things. He reached out to the right people. He put a lot of work in up front, and it ended up paying off. So good work, Austin. He knew his audience, he created his journey. And then the last step is just to test. So what he did was, I asked him how he was testing and what he was going to do next. What he did was he took a course about webinars. So he decided, hey, I'm going to create a really cool webinar, and I'm going to sell yearly memberships to my membership site. So what he did was he did that. He took the course, he put together his next test, created the webinar, and here's exactly what he said. Doing good. Grew to 100 plus members in the first 3 months. I bought a webinar course early this month and put it into action, and made 5.5K sales to my membership's annual plan yesterday. Going to work on improving the analytics of attendance and conversion, then start running ads to it based on my Instagram lookalike audience. So see, those are the things that he's testing. Now he's trying to test his conversion numbers, and then he's going to test some paid advertising in order to continue to grow this thing, which it could end up making 7 figures if he stays at it and keeps working. So again, great job. He made another 5.5K on the back of what we already talked about. So if you do the math, Austin totaled 8.7K upfront and then 3K per month recurring after that. Now, would 8K upfront and $3,000 per month be helpful for you? And you may be thinking, well, I have a job. I can't dedicate all this time to it. Little did you know, Austin has a job too. I had a job too when I first started, right? These are things that can be done on the side of your job so that you continue to work towards creating that online income without having to quit your job or risk everything or put your family in danger or make it so that you can't have a secure lifestyle, right? So if you're worried about having time because of your job, just know that there's a lot of things we can do today to get you started on your dream business without having to quit or risk anything. So that's really cool. And there you have it, okay? So the greatest opportunity, the greatest chance to have an unfair advantage in business today is by crafting what's called a customer journey, and more specifically by crafting what we call the forever journey. And you can create one by following the steps that I just outlined. So hopefully this post was helpful. Comment below, what is your biggest question or your biggest takeaway from this video? Just put it in the comments directly below this video. And I'll be happy to help, and I'll be happy to actually take your questions and put them into my next training that I'm going to be releasing. It's also going to be free. If you want me to email you that new training, I may or may not be putting it out like this one, but I'm going to create this new training and send it to my email list. So if you want, get on the email list so that you can receive the next training in this series. And in the next training, I'm actually going to show you how to begin with the end in mind. I'm going to show you how to create the end first, right? So we're going to talk about offer creation. We're going to talk about pricing. How much can you get paid? How much can you even make from this thing, right? How much can you price, and what should you charge for what you're worth? And we always look to get the most amount of money so you can be paid what you're worth and you can grow wealthy and provide for your family long term. So that's really what we're going to be talking about in the next video. We're going to talk about all the systems and processes and step by step in order to do that. So make sure you get on the email list so you can receive the second training in this series. This is the first one. Receive the second one by putting your email below. And again, there's nothing for sale right now. I'm just providing this free content. I hope you liked it. And again, if you found this valuable, click the share button below this video. Click that share button and share it on Facebook, share it on Twitter, share it wherever you want, and get people to come see this. I obviously put a lot of time into this, and I would love to, help the most amount of people possible for free. If you share this, that will help me do that. And that's really all I have. So put your email below, hit this comment button, and then share this out and I will see you next time. Thank you for watching. My name again is Ryan Kearns, and I look forward to hearing from you soon. Bye-bye.